Business ownership has never been hotter, but how do you do it? That's where I come in. Allow me to guide you on your journey. Welcome to Ion Franchising. Up next.
You didn't do it once. You're now doing it twice. So that's awesome to hear.
I don't have many regrets from our startup phase. We went for it. We went all in, and so I don't know. I say we could have been more financially prepared, but honestly, I'm not sure we could have been. So,
right. What advice would you like to give or share with people interested in business ownership? Today, I'm talking to Dan Hermansen, who is a franchisee of Footprints Floors. Dan, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hey, good, Lance. Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Well, I am so happy you are here, and have my list of questions here for this special Franchise Envy series. So, number one, how long have you been a franchisee of Footprints Floors?
My wife Laura and I, we became franchisees in February of 2021, and we sold our first job on June 1st of 2021. So after training and everything, we were really, truly in business, and we sold our first job on June 1st, 2021.
Okay, good. So what was your dream occupation as a kid? You know, a lot of people want to be a doctor, lawyer, firefighter, policeman, astronaut. What about you?
You know, I guess I always wanted to be a pilot. I always thought it'd be cool to fly. But I always kind of had a little bit of entrepreneurial spirit. You know, I always wanted to work for myself a little bit in there as well. So,
but a pilot.
But a pilot, yeah. If I had it for my long shot, exciting dream, a pilot would still be pretty cool.
Totally fine. I'm always curious about that. What were you doing prior to becoming a Footprints Floors franchisee?
I worked in the truck equipment industry for about 19 years. That was really my only career before Footprints, and I sold truck equipment. The companies I worked for would manufacture bodies or tanks or different sorts of equipment, and I'd sell it, and we'd mount it on trucks and deliver it to customers.
Okay. And why did you get into a franchise?
We really liked the idea of having a model to go with that was proven, that here's your instructions. If you do what we say, you should be successful. And we really like that.
And how did you find Footprints Floors specifically?
We had looked a lot, and we had been looking a long time for different opportunities. And I inquired about a random internet business for sale listing, and a franchise broker reached out to me.
Love it.
And he said, hey, that one, I'm not really sure if that one would work for you, but hey, what do you think about this Footprints company?
Yeah, I love it. So what was your total, call it all-in investment, and how many territories did you purchase for Footprints?
We started with 2. In 2021, we bought 2 of the 3 Kansas City territories. I think we paid $98,000 in franchise fees. If I had to put a number on total startup cost, probably 120. I bet we with the other expenses of startup, we were probably in for 120. A year later, we could tell the system works, and we wanted the rest of Kansas City, so we bought the 3rd territory a year later, and roughly that was another $50,000.
You know, myself being a franchise broker, consultant, one of the best testimonials is when people come back and buy additional territory.
Sure.
You didn't do it once, you're now doing it twice. So that's awesome to hear. Why did you pick this particular franchise? What really sold you on Footprints floors?
In general, just the business model, but the what was super appealing was the managed services aspect that corporate still takes care of. We pay a fee for it, but it's a tremendous help, and it's the work that I wouldn't have wanted to do anyways. It's the answering of the phones, it's the following up to make appointments. That was a huge draw for us. It was one of the big draws.
Yeah. So I guess that's the classic, being in business for yourself, but not by yourself.
Yeah, yeah, I would say the Footprints corporate team is super easy to get along with as well. So they're easy to like. But as far as like the model goes, the managed services side of things is it's extremely well run, and they do a good job. And it's I wouldn't want to do that work. So if I had to do that part of it, I probably would have walked. I wouldn't have wanted to do it.
Yeah. So was size a factor? A lot of people looking at businesses, looking at franchises, they want a big brand. They think the more well established, the better. And what was your thought? Did size matter? Was there consideration?
The only thing that really mattered to me was that corporate was strong enough to back up what they're selling and to continue to give us what we're going to need from them. I Footprints didn't exist in Kansas City before, so it was literally, I wouldn't say there was any name recognition at all for us, but
got it.
So I guess that was our concern. We weren't necessarily looking at size of at the size of the franchisor necessarily, but we did consider whether or not they had the financials to keep going.
Got it. Passed that test, obviously.
So far, it's been good.
What was the hardest part of launching the franchise? You mentioned not having name recognition. That's always difficult. You're establishing the brand. When I opened my first Wingstop restaurant as a franchisee in Vegas, I remember doing $5,000 opening week. But then I opened my fourth location, and we're talking brick and mortar, and I did $35,000 opening week.
Yeah.
And eventually that $5,000 a week store became $1 million store. So not having name recognition can certainly be tough initially, but you have a system. So what was it really for you? What was that tough part where you looked at your wife and go, man, this is harder than I thought?
Probably just the inexperience. We knew very little about flooring before we started the training process with Footprints. And so, but the first house you walk into as the owner of a flooring company, you are the expert. And I'll tell you, I walked into a few of those first weeks. I guarantee the homeowner knew more about hardwood than I do, or than I did at that time. And so you're faking it a little. And at the end of the day, you're going to provide a good product and everything's going to be great. But yeah, that faking it period where like you're learning fast. It's drinking from a fire hose for at least 3 to 6 months. So I'd say the comfort level with just operating the business of being in customers' homes and giving them pricing and answering questions that you need to find an answer for. Maybe they're not on the top of your head, but you need an answer and you got to get them one.
Yeah. And I would imagine even though there's all the great training, it's nothing like when you actually put in the reps and do the work. And then all of a sudden you have that epiphany. Well, I don't necessarily know what I don't know yet.
Exactly. I've learned a tremendous amount on the job. But I will say, I'll plug Footprints again. At the corporate level, we have a Google chat with every single owner is connected on this Google chat, and we talk every day. If somebody's having a problem in Florida and I can help, I'm on there. Hey, have you thought about this? And I mean, across the country, almost every owner is active on our chat. And so in those scenarios where you're in a house, I've been in a house, had a question come up, we throw it on the chat, and usually before I'm outside, before I leave that customer, I've got something that I can share with them.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
There's no doubt that collaboration is such a great thing that a lot of people either don't realize or underestimate, is that team spirit, if you will, that community.
Yeah, we're not alone. We're here by ourselves in Kansas City, running the business the way we want to run it, but we're really not alone, and it's a good feeling.
Yeah. So what is the best thing thus far that has resulted from being in the franchise? You probably have some more free time, even though you still work hard. You write your own schedule, but what is it really for you that you and your wife are like, man, this is good?
Writing our own schedule is huge. And there's no doubt I work more hours now than I did as an employee, but they're my hours and they're dictated by us. I think the other big thing is just being able to really take care of customers the way we want to take care of them. And because I've been in the taking care of customer business for a really long time, but when you have a boss telling you, no, you need to tell that guy this because that's our policy and that's how we're going to handle this, and you don't always feel good about that. And I guess taking care of the customers it sounds cliche, but like at the end of the day, that's how we get paid and that's how we get the next job. So it's super important to me. And so being able to handle that side of it, those interactions, exactly how we want to handle them.
Yeah. So I love what you're saying, because I hear it from people in different ways on a regular basis. That autonomy to make your own decisions. In this case, be the king of customer service. It's your castle. You get to make the decision.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's awesome. What are your secrets to success? Let's just give me one secret that maybe not so secretive to your success. So you just mentioned the chat and other franchisees. They might be struggling with certain things, especially in the earlier stages. Mm-hmm. What's the secret to your success?
So our secret to success, or one of them, I would say that we stick with it every day. So like through the challenges and through customers who may not have their expectations met completely, we don't walk away from it. We don't hide. We don't mute phone calls. We just get through it. And I'm lucky that I have my wife helping me every day, so we share ideas, we bounce stuff off each other, and ultimately we just push through and make the customer happy, I guess, is maybe that's a key to success would be diligence in making the customer happy, because it's really the end goal every time.
I think what you just told me is also reliability, because that's one of the first things I think of when I think of a franchise, because there's a lot of independent business owners that, to your point, maybe aren't answering the phone. Maybe they're too busy. Maybe somebody's up on a ladder or somebody's down on a floor or whatever it might be. And so I love that. Reliability, I think overall, nice answer. Why are other franchisees not as successful, not as happy? What goes on in a business owner's head and life that causes them not to be as successful?
I'm sure there are tons of reasons, both personal and professional, why you could struggle. But I would say, from an outside perspective, to me, it looks like the people who struggle the most are the people who try to reinvent the wheel and don't follow the model the way that it's taught to us. that'd be my number one answer for why we're doing the same thing, but you're not doing as well as the rest of us.
Yeah. I've heard that quite often in the past. It is kind of amazing when people go through the process of selecting the right franchise for them, and franchising is a two-way street. You're checking out the franchisor, in this case, Footprints Floors, and they're checking you out. And it does amaze me that when people get into certain franchises, all of a sudden they want to change everything, and it's kind of crazy.
It blows me away. I use what you paid for is what I would tell people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. So how much can a great franchisee do in sales? Let's say per territory, revenue per territory.
The system was built for each Footprints territory to be able to do $1 million in revenue.
Per territory.
Per territory.
And what should the income be on $1 million territory? Is this something you can net 20%?
The goal, I think the goal for the model is between 25 and 30% for
that's fantastic.
For a single operator, no employees. I think things start to change as you add overhead, but
right.
A single operator, no employees, 25 to 30% net.
25 to 30%. So that's 250, 300,000 in net income based on that $1 million territory. Now, when you say no employees, is that because the Footprints model is typically to use 1099 employees?
Correct. We use 1099 employee, we use 1099
subcontractors.
Subcontractors for the labor portion of our business.
Got it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Is there anything you would have done differently knowing what you know now about being a business owner, a franchise owner with Footprints Floors?
You can always be more prepared. There's no doubt. Could be, we could have been better financially prepared. But I'm not sure. I don't have many regrets from our startup phase. We went for it. We went all in, and so I don't know. I say we could have been more financially prepared, but honestly, I'm not sure we could have been. So
right. What is next for you? So you did this. You have 3 territories now. What's next? Just build this up, hand it off to the kids. I mean, what are your thoughts?
We definitely want to grow. Whether or not my children will be flooring people when they get older, I'm not sure, but I'd like to grow it to where Footprints Floors is more of a recognizable name throughout the Kansas City Metroplex. I mean, I feel like we're starting to get a little bit of a foothold, but I think we could be a major player in flooring in Kansas City. And I think Footprints as a whole could be a major player across the country in flooring. So that's where we're focused, really, is just on growth. We want to get bigger, and continue to deliver the quality that we're currently delivering.
Awesome. What advice would you like to give or share with people interested in business ownership or a franchise? What advice would you like to give? Give me a tip.
I would say if you really want to do it, be looking now. Even if you think, well, I can't do that for 5 years, start looking and figure out the value to things and what you're going to need and what you don't like and what you for sure wouldn't want to do. But there were many companies before we had our own. There were many times where we researched companies that we thought, oh, that sounds interesting. Call them, sign the non-disclosure agreement and get their numbers and look through them. I mean, even if you're not ready, like, learn how to do it, and be ready for when that opportunity comes.
Yeah.
I guess is what that in a nutshell, be ready when the opportunity presents itself.
I love that advice, because so many people, when they do decide to jump in, I'm going to get a business. First of all, they think it's going to happen right away. And second of all, they have not prepared themselves mentally. You know, you can't just decide one day you're going to run a marathon and run 26 miles. You're going to have to start walking first, right?
That's
and
right.
jogging. So, Dan, you were awesome. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your story.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Lance.
My pleasure.
If you're ready to talk about franchise opportunities, hit the link below to schedule a call. My services are free, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for listening.